Cavalry Southern Cross and Genesis Climber Mosquito will expire on March 14th, 2021. So what did the court actually uphold? Well, the ruling stated that the licensing agreement between Harmony Gold and Tatsunoko is valid. However, without a renewal, Harmony Gold's license to the animated TV series Macross, Southern Cross, and Mosquito will expire in 2021. And after this news was made public, fans are all asking, what does this mean? Will Harmony Gold actually lose the license to Macross, Southern Cross, and Mosquito in 2021? And more importantly, what about the future of Robotech after 2021? Tonight, we will answer both of these questions. Let's tackle the first question. Will Harmony Gold actually lose the license to Macross, Southern Cross, and Mosquito in 2021? Harmony Gold and Tatsunoko were involved in intense negotiations for the renewal of Macross, Southern Cross, and Mosquito. However, those negotiations have since ceased because Harmony Gold and Tatsunoko signed an agreement to renew and extend the current license and amendments for Macross, Southern Cross, and Mosquito. To be blunt, Harmony Gold has renewed Macross, Southern Cross, and Mosquito. The Robotech franchise is safe and secure and will not be ending in 2021, as some industry insiders are reporting. And there is more. Since this is an extension of the current agreements, all of Harmony Gold's rights to Macross, Southern Cross, and Mosquito will remain in full effect well into the future. And we have a statement from our chairman, Frank Agrama, regarding the 2019 renewal and extension of rights. Quote, over the past 35 years, we have been blessed to work with our friends at Tatsunoko on developing one of the world's greatest entertainment franchises. With our extension, we look forward to the next 35 years of working with Tatsunoko and our world-class business partners on Robotech. And now that our renewal is secured for the foreseeable future, it's a great time to talk about Robotech with online streaming. We're currently streaming on Netflix and Amazon Prime. However, if you don't have a subscription to these services, we are pleased to announce that Robotech is now you can now view Robotech on Roku and Vudu. These are free to stream services. And we're very excited to be working with them. And with expanding on
hey, what's up, Jeff? I'm going to be quiet. I said I can record it, but I can't talk or anything.
From 80s Tees. Gary, I want to welcome you to the panel. Yes, all right. We've got an awesome line of Robotech t-shirts.
Yeah, thank you. We definitely try to
bring
some
new
products out and really try to bring some different looks that I haven't seen with Robotech.
And of course our hoodies.
Oh yeah, the hoodies. We definitely want to expand more on hoodies, and I'm always open to hear, from you guys, what you guys would like to see as far as new products, and who knows.
And of course, speaking of new products, we also have a line of hockey jerseys.
Oh.
Yeah, how you like them apples, huh?
Yeah. You can buy these right now at 80stees.com.
Nice.
How you like it?
I like it.
Yeah? All right, that's good, that's good.
And Gary.
Yeah.
you have a special discount for the Robotech fans, don't you?
Yeah, mainly for you guys in here because no one else is going to know about it. So it's insider information, okay? Seriously.
Except for my community.
20% off all through the weekend.
Go.
So anything on 80stees.com as far as Robotech, 20% off. That's anything on the website. That's not all of it. Of course, there's a lot more stuff. Yeah, socks. You know, and t-shirts that rock, you know?
Awesome. Gary, thank you. I think you drove down from Ontario. You landed in Ontario today and you drove down.
Yeah, it took like 5 hours or something.
So thank you for coming. We welcome you to the panel.
All right.
And speaking of apparel, our friends at Super 7 also have a Robotech t-shirt, and that's available at booth 2543. There's still a few remaining. They're almost sold out. So tomorrow, first thing, you definitely want to go get these. And speaking of apparel, we also have a new line of Robotech flight jackets.
Oh, that's cool.
Yes.
See the gentleman right there.
Very happy customer. Yes.
Was it worth every penny?
Yes. Excellent. Thank you. Well, just last year, our friends at Toynami have launched a new line of Robotech action figures. Wave 1 featuring Rick, Max, Roy, Minmay, and Miriam.
I want one. Playing cards. Raise your hand if you get playing cards.
Yeah.
In the back.
In the back.
We're doing
In
it.
the back. These will be followed by Wave 2 figures, which will be released later this year. These include Ben, Claudia, Captain Global, Rick Hunter, and Lisa Hayes. And we have a new line of new generation blind box figures. These are collectible blind box figures. You can order them individually or as a set, and they're shipping to retailers now. These will be followed by a line of super deformed Veritech fighters. Yes. And speaking of Veritech fighters, our friends at Caliber Wings have launched a new line of die-cast model VF1. However, they're sold out. I know. Hold it, folks. Toynami's got you covered because we are launching a new line of retro packaging 1/100 scale, fully transformable VF1s.
Well, that's badass.
And we've got the Skull Leader with the fast packs and the heavy armor. And I want to introduce our other mystery guest, the illustrator who's been doing this awesome retro artwork, Jamie Sullivan. Jamie, welcome to the panel. Jamie, please tell us more about your art. All what you do.
Well, first of all, I'm a huge fan of Robotech and Macross from when I'm a kid. I'm old. So, you know, I tried to channel the original art of Takani, the watercolor paintings, and I think I did an okay job.
Those are amazing.
I'm excited to let everybody know that the 2 packages that are available right now, the one with the fast pack and the GDP, are just the first in a line of vintage style packaging that's coming out. Can't really say a lot more about it, but you know, there's going to be some, can I say death strokes? Yeah, and so I'm really excited to do it. There's going to be all new poses and new art for it. The original idea was to kind of ease people into new art, but using the old style from the 80s, and using some old line art and painting it, you know, like it's never been painted before, and then transitioning into stuff that I've come up with, and I hope you guys enjoy it. And there's a lot of really cool stuff coming, and I'll be at the Toynami booth tomorrow and on Saturday signing, and you can come and talk to me about it, and hopefully we can tell you more about what's happening.
This is aisle 3200, right?
Yeah, it's booth 3229. It's right next to Hasbro. You can't miss it. But yeah, this was a lot of fun. These were the image that's up here is the exclusive print that's at Toynami right now. All of the individual mech that's up there were hand painted, and then I digitally deposited the paintings together. And if you actually come down to the booth, I have a lot of the paintings that are there, so you can see them. So.
Okay, outstanding artwork. Do you like Jamie's artwork, folks?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Excellent. Welcome to Campus, and thank you for being on the panel.
Appreciate it.
Awesome. And speaking of, retro, Caliber Wings is making a line of Robotech die-cast model F-14 Tomcats.
Whoa.
Yes. These are available at the Toynami booth 3229. Skull Leader's available, and now the Myriad variant is also available as well. Yes, you can buy these right now at Toynami booth 3229. And for you Transforming Toy fans, our friends at Kits Concept have you covered with a new line of 172 scale transformable VF1s. And you might notice the fast packs light up. Yes. And our friends at Kids Concept have more with the Singing Minmay Sneaker. What does the Singing Minmay Sneaker do? Here you go.
The Bluetooth?
I know. But folks, Kids Concept doesn't stop there. They've got the pullback Minmay. You pull Minmay back, and this is what happens. Yep. They're available right now, by the way, folks. And Kids Concept is making a
I don't know
line
whose
of
that is, by the way.
6-inch foldable figures.
No, that's been there since I got here.
Right now.
They're a nice pair of headphones, too.
It's getting ready to ship, and there'll be a third figure coming very, very soon. What? I think it will be. Yeah, I think you'll be very happy. And speaking of figures, let's talk about high-end statues and our friends at Kids Logic. A couple years ago, Kids Logic created a 1/6 scale VF1 cockpit diorama, Bluetooth-capable digital sound system diorama, and it's already sold out. Yes. Oh, folks, guess what they're making next? A 3-foot-tall SDF1 that lights up and is a Bluetooth-capable speaker system.
Well played, sir.
Shipping late in 2019, and shipping right now from Kids Logic is a line of their buses. These are shipping right now from Kids Logic. And our friends at Prime One Studio are making another line of high-end statues, starting with the VF1J. Here's another photo of it. This is very, very cool. It was at Comic-Con last year. And our friends at Icon Heroes are making a line of resin statues. And here's the first look at them. We've got the Rick Hunter and the Skull Leader. Yes, these will be arriving in 2020. They will have posable and interchangeable arms, and they stand over 1 feet tall.
Holy shit.
You can see them right now on display at booth 3345. And if you make your way down to booth 3345, you will experience the power of the plushie. Yes, they're available. These are on sale right now at booth 3345.
Watch.
And we have a new toy license called Net Toys. I want to bring in the founder of Net Toys, Carlos Pozo. Carlos, welcome to San Diego Comic-Con.
Thank you.
Yes.
Very well.
And you launched a new figure, this is shipping right now, the Lord Britai figure.
Yes.
Tell us about it.
Well, you have it right here. The shipment arrived yesterday. It's LA somewhere. You need to go and open every box and check them out. But yeah, there it is.
Looks cool.
Thanks.
And Carlos,
Pass around.
in episode 11, Rick and Britai fight nearly to the death, and Rick ejects and Britai grabs him. It says it has an ejection seat with Thunder figure. Does that inspire you?
Yes. Brita is one of my favorite characters. He can take an explosion to the face and still, keep going. So I love that episode. So we decided to get the little microneer Rick on his ejection seat.
Excellent. And also, you have a line of Southern Cross figures in development, don't you?
Yeah, so we love Robotech so much that we are trying to get all the series from Macross, Southern Cross, Sentinels, Mosquito, Shadow Chronicles. So we have a library, a growing library of 3D models right now.
And
Get a
speaking
better
of, you
angle.
mentioned the new generation. You guys want to see a new generation photo? Yes.
Yeah, so we are working on the Elite Scout, and if everything goes well, we can be launching that soon. We have to work on the sculpt a little more and the articulation.
Yeah. And speaking of new generation, I want to bring in Dave Killingsworth of Solar Flare Games because you're working on a new generation card game. You're working with Carlos on something.
Actually, there's a couple aspects of what we're doing.
Yeah.
We did Macross Force of Arms, so we did Force of Arms, and then we did Crisis Point, so we really wanted to service all the aspects of the show. But one of the challenges we got to is a lot of people in tabletop want something they can play with more than just 2 players. So the Mosquito is going to be 1 to 6 player, full co-op. The Freedom Fighters forcing their way to Reflex Point to fight the Regis. It is a dice and card game, so it's light, it's easy to set up, it's fun to play. And you all should have with your poker cards, which are from something we created. You should get a pre-order card. The pre-order, you can go to it now. It's not live yet, but you can put your information in and make sure you're part of it. One of the things we're doing with the pre-orders I got with Carlos, and we're going to include a 50-inch millimeter resin of the Regis. So when you go to the Regis fight, you can put her out in the board with her placard, and when you fight her. And then one of the other things we're actually doing is right now, Carlos has a nice figure. I think is it Rand or is it Scott?
It's
Scott. So we're working with some of my artists to get him some more sculpts. So one of the things, if you pre-order the Invid Invasion game, it'll give you access to ordering 25 to 48-inch resin minis that you can use with the game or just that you can paint. We really wanted to make sure when, as Solar Flare, we work with as many of the other people as possible, and I actually got to talk to the 80s t-shirt guy because everybody from the Southern Cross family wants the cover of the manual from the game done as a t-shirt as well as the flag, and so I think we need to get together and do some of that too.
Consider it done.
So yeah, Invid Invasion is going to be coming. If you go to the pre-order on the card, it's not going to charge you, it's not going to take you over. You can just go put my name in, put my information in, and when we go live, it'll notify you that you can pre-order the game. And in addition to that, there's going to be a booster pack for Crisis Point, the Regis Mini, give you access to the SDF1 playmat for Force of Arms, which has been sold out for over a year now. Stop laughing. She told me I didn't order enough, and she got to be right again. So, but the good thing is the final Invid Invasion game is going to be the biggest thing we've ever done. It's going to weigh almost 4 pounds. It's going to have a 2-foot by 3-foot board. You'll have a punch-out miniature, a punch-out standee for every character, every one of the heroes. There's 4. There's their Cycle, their Cyclone, their Guardian mode, and their Battle mode. So as you play the game and you transform them as you play, you'll be able to change them out. And so it's a lot of cardboard and a lot of really beautiful art. And that's what the box is going to look like. That's what the Regis Mini looks like currently. And I think we even slipped in some of the current work in progress cards for the game as well.
Yeah, so we're and once again, we're up the website.
Yeah, the best thing to follow us is on Facebook /SolarFlare Games, solarflaregames.com, and also Twitter's @BraveFrontier. I post a lot of stuff all the time, and one of the things to really remember is if you get part of those groups where I'm posting things, we take feedback from the fans. I'm a fan, I do this because this isn't my job, this is what I do because I love it. I got hooked on this stuff in the mid-'80s, and I got an opportunity to add things to a universe that I love. And any of you who interact with me online, I know there's some of you here who told me you were coming. If you have ideas that will help what we're doing, we will incorporate them. The way we posed the Saber Cyclone for the art for the card in Infinite Invasion was done because one of the fans was like, this is the best pose, I like this the best. We ran it through our artists, and then Tommy saw it too, and we were just like, yeah, that's a great idea. And some of the rules tweaks and some of the way you interact with the Regis and Korg and Sarah, we didn't have Korg and Sarah at first, and they went, how can you not have Korg and Sarah? Korg hates Scott. So one of the rules in the game is anytime Korg's going to shoot a hero, if he has a choice between Scott and anybody else, he shoots Scott. And Sarah's there to provide all this support of just basically messing with everybody by stuff that she does in the game. So the game is super thematic, and the more theme and the more tweaks we do come from fans like you. So find me online, interact with us online. Another one of the great Facebook groups is the Masters War, is where a lot of people congregate. They just started a Mosfeta group as well. I'm always there. I'm always posting bits and pieces of what we're doing, and we love your interaction and your feedback.
And speaking of the Masters War, you got the Crisis Point game out now. It's now shipping.
Yes, it is. You can get it in game stores everywhere. You can order it at Robotech online. It is one of the deepest strategy. It's a head-to-head combat game, but we really took everything about the characters. Like Dana's special ability is charge. I mean, that was an easy choice. Every problem we solved with a cavalry charge. And so we put a lot of those things in there, and like I said, when we do Invasion, we do a booster for this, because a couple of the characters didn't make it, and so we saved a few of them for later. That's one of the reasons we did the booster pack for Force of Arms, because Roy, people were like, why isn't Roy in it? Roy's dead. So we added in the Grand Canyon booster pack, which you can get from a game store for free. For the Force of Arms game, Roy's in it. Exodor's in it. There's a lot of things fans came back to us and said, why don't you have this? The Grand Cannon's in it. I mean, we put all those things in there because you guys asked for it, so that's why we did it.
Excellent. Dave, thank you for
You can finish that.
Yeah. And folks, speaking of gaming, we have a great new board license called Strange Machine Games. Already, they have released Robotech, Attack on the SDF-1, which is now shipping for $80. And later this year, this game will be followed by 2 new games, Robotech, Brace for Impact, and Robotech Cyclone Run. And it also expanded into the world of role-playing games, with Robotech, a role-playing game, and Robotech, the Macross Saga, which will be available for playtesting at Gen Con. So expect more information on the Robotech gaming front. And speaking of fronts, let's talk about Udon and Robotech art books. Yes. Okay. So we have the Robotech the Macross Saga Visual Archive now shipping. Tom, you've been working on this bit, so you've been...
Yes, this is one of the most detailed books related to Robotech the Macross Saga. How many of you have Robotech Art 1? That's one of the highly sought after collectibles from the 80s, and that's one of the thickest Robotech reference books that have been out for a long time, but it's become harder to find. When Udon started working on this book, they gathered so much Macross pre-production that this book is as large as Robotech Art 1, and yet it only covers the first third of the saga, so now already you can see that it has 3 times as much content as before. Now, this had sold so well, it's already into its 2nd printing. The second part of the series, which is Robotech the Masters, they're actually still working on this. And this is scheduled to come out next year. this is one of the hardest sections to work on. Like, Dave, you can actually attest to this, the Masters compared to Macross, is that there's so little published material compared to before. But what we were able to do was we were able to dive into the original materials provided by Tatsunoko Productions in Japan to have this book put together. So once it's out, it will be the most comprehensive book on the series, both in the United States or Japan. So this is something that we're really, really looking forward to. Udon is also actually here on the show floor, so I highly recommend that you meet the folks there. Those guys are awesome, and they just poured all their energy into this.
And moving on, speaking of books, let's talk about Robotech Comics over at Titan.
Yeah, so we've been really happy working with the folks over at Titan Comics. They are the largest publisher of comics in England and in the EU, I believe. And when we moved the license there, they really wanted to have a great launch for Robotech. And when it launched at #1. It was the #1 non-premiere comic series to launch, meaning it was not a Marvel or DC book. So outside of Marvel or DC, this was the biggest launch that month. And you can also get books on Comixology if you missed the issues. They're already working on issue 24. This is how far along they are with the series. So within a short period of time, they've already matched the output of our previous publisher. Wildstorm also did a great job with their run, but this shows the pace picking up over at Titan. And let's move on here. Simon Furman, who had previously worked on Transformers, had written the story arc that we're currently in the middle of. The series is called Event Horizon, and it's also drawn by Henry Presetia. And this is an example of some of their artwork. This started with Free Comic Book Day. This was a huge deal for Robotech. Usually on Free Comic Book Day, comic retailers want to encourage more fans to get into comic books, and we'll have a lot of the highest profile properties at different publishers brought front and center for fans to get into comic books. And this is the first time Robotech's ever been presented to fans on Free Comic Book Day. And the 0th issue, which is where they started the Event Horizon event, that just blew out. It sold out during Free Comic Book Day. Well, blew out as a freebie would go, but it went extremely fast. It was amazing. So now Simon, this is the, I believe, yeah, that's the 0th issue. So right now we're up to issue 22 that was just released, and fans are realizing that we are just completely, Simon's gone completely experimental with the continuity. He's got the different generations of Robotech interacting with one another. And if we show this next example, we're even bringing in different realities and continuities of Robotech. So if you recognize that vessel, it's actually from Robotech 3000. Now, somebody I'd like to bring up to join us is Brendan. Are you here?
Brendan, come on up. Yeah. Brendan, come on up. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Brendan Fletcher.
Thanks, guys.
So glad to have you with us.
Thanks for having me.
We're so glad to have you.
What can I tell you? You know everything. What can we tell them?
Let's, well, tell us about yourself and Robotech.
Oh man, we're gonna start there. I know it sounds weird. I wouldn't be making comics today for a living if it wasn't for Robotech. I know that's a little weird. My best buddy, who I do comics with, we did Gotham Academy. We're doing a book for Image right now called Isola. We were obsessed with Robotech growing up, and instead of doing our schoolwork, we would doodle specifically Lancer's eyes. It was the toughest thing to draw. Some of you sketch Lancer, right? Yeah. I don't know what it was. At 10 years old, that shape was just tough to nail down, and we just drew Lancer over and over and over again. Rick Hunter, we got it. It's all about the hair. we're like 10, 11-year-old, 12-year-old kids with the worst French teacher in the world. I'm Canadian, we have to take French as kids. The worst French teacher in the world. We did not pay attention. We sat in the back of the room making up our own Robotech stories and trying to figure out how to draw Lancer. And it just became like a passion. Like storytelling for me started as a thing I really wanted to do by making up my own Robotech stories. And I think, moving on to become a professional storyteller, there's a lot of things that I know I have brought to my work that were like lessons learned from Robotech. And I had kind of promised myself, wrapping up all my DC Comics books and moving on to my own IP that I'm making, that was the trajectory of my life for now. And nothing could bring me back to anyone else's IP. Robotech was the only thing that would do it. I was powerless. Chris over at, formerly of Titan Comics, approached me last year at New York Comic Con, sat down for a coffee, and he said, I think you know why I wanted to talk to you. And I was like, you want to talk about Robotech, right? I know why you want to talk to me. And he's like, we want to talk about Robotech. I said, I'm not going to do it, Chris, I'm not going to do it. And he said, I think you need to do it. And he broke me down in like 30 seconds. And, I was really excited. I'm really excited by what these guys have been doing with this book. Taking this thing that a lot of us grew up with, got really excited about, we've lived with, and sort of putting a twist on it that recontextualizes the whole thing and opens up the world of Robotech to limitless possibilities. As a storyteller, that was like catnip. I couldn't say no to it, so I'm super pumped about everything moving forward, and I would love to talk about it if I'm allowed to.
Well, I think what we can tease a little bit.
Okay.
Fans who have been following the series are already discovering that future Dana Sterling is coming into the Macross timeline. That's what's going on in Event Horizon right now.
Yeah.
So maybe you can just tell a little bit of what you would want to do with Dana without giving away the details, the spoilers.
Jeez, Tommy. Yeah, let's give some spoilers. Have you all been reading this Titans Comics thing? Yeah? It's really cool. If you haven't checked it out yet, give it a shot. They're collected into trades. They're super easy to get a hold of. Titan's actually on the show floor too. They've got them all there. I mean, I'm not speaking out of school. I guess it's a little bit spoilery to the current thing, but Dana has come back, and she had to come back because of stuff that happened in the original timeline. And she has come back to keep that from happening. I can't tell you how Simon's story wraps up, but I will say that as a result of coming back, she has possibly saved the world, the universe, every timeline, but she has doomed herself personally. And that's where I pick it up, is I want to tell the story of how Dana wrestles with her place in the Robotech universe, and her place in her family, and her place in society as it now is on this earth. Whoa.
How do we follow up that? Actually, in the Event Horizon series, fans are being introduced to you through the backup stories that you're collaborating with Sarah Stone on.
Yeah. Oh my God, Sarah. Did you guys read Sarah's Transformer comics? She basically like made Windblade. She is incredible. And I wanted to work with Sarah for years, and we kind of committed to work with each other, and then she took a gig doing the Netflix Castlevania show, and I was like, we're never gonna make comics together. And when the opportunity came up to do 2-page shorts in the back of this, I called her up and I said, look, I know you're busy. Can you spare me like a weekend a month for a few months just to do a short Robotech story? She said, yeah, she's amazing. She's so great. She's known for drawing transforming robots. And ironically, our little story doesn't really feature transforming robots very much, but you know. Robotech's about the people. It just happens to have cool transforming robots in it, right? Thank you.
You know, and folks, we're talking about cool transforming robots.
No, actually, they've been
Let's
showing
talk
it the whole
about
time.
the Robotech
Good
live
headphones,
action
too,
film
man.
set up over at Cell. Folks, back in July of 2017, Sony announced that its director, Andy Muschietti, had become attached to direct the live-action Robotech movie. Then 2 months later, in September 2017, Sony Pictures announced that Wonder Woman co-writer Jason Fuchs will script the live-action Robotech movie. We want to give you just a brief update on what the next steps are going to be. Andy is currently wrapping up the sequel to It. It's currently in post-production. While that's happening, Jason is writing a screenplay for the live-action Robotech movie. And Sony and Harmony Gold are working together with the production team to develop the live-action movie while the It sequel is in post-production. And I want to focus on this last point, namely the relationship between Sony Pictures and Harmony Gold and how it will unfold over the next 18 months. When the contract was signed at Harmony Gold for the live-action Robotech movie, the entire team celebrated. But after we celebrated, we had to move on to the next phase. And that next phase was answering all of the questions Sony had about the Robotech franchise. See, when the deal was announced back in the spring of 2015, Sony had all these questions and they wanted answers. So they invited us all over to Sony Pictures Studios and right into their executive boardroom to brief their senior management about the Robotech franchise. And what we did was we made sure each executive in attendance received a limited edition Robotech toy and a brochure outlining the history of the franchise. And when we began our presentation, we started talking about the history and performance of the franchise, and the Sony executive stopped us and said, "This is all great, and you know what? We want more Robotech in the marketplace." So to that end, Sony Pictures granted Harmony Gold clearance to create and license new animated Robotech merchandise. But while this arrangement has been productive for both Sony and Harmony Gold, we are exploring ways to expand our partnership over the next 18 months. And over the next 18 months, you're going to see what this partnership is going to entail. So there's a lot going on with the Robotech franchise. And now, with our remaining 10 minutes, I want to open up to question and answer. Please line up here. We got plenty of prizes.
All right, and everyone who comes up after you
Okay, everyone. So I'm gonna go ahead and end it there. My battery's almost dead.
And grab a prize.
The questions are cool, but I kind of feel like I'm just sneezing the stream. Kind of a feeling like that. I'll see you guys in the later.
You sound really enthused.